Howdy folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with the mighty Jingles, and here's a treat for you, something I've never shown you before, my M103. I finally unlocked the M58 gun for it. That's a hell of a grind. It's not one of the worst grinds in the game. I think the grind for the BL10 on the ISU-152 was especially painful. In fact, it's probably true to say that the grind for the BL10 on the ISU-152 starts the minute you unlock the SU-152. It's a horrible grind through the SU-152 and all the way through the 60,000 XP you need on the ISU-152 to get that gun, but it really does make the tank, and I think that's certainly true to a lesser degree. It's a 60,000 XP grind to get the M58 gun on the M103 after unlocking the T122 gun, which is a bit meh. But it's a good gun. Oh wow, it's a good gun. And I like the tank. T110E5 up there in front of me. Played the T110E5 on the test server. If you watched some of my test server videos, loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's the heavy tank that's most like a medium tank. With a great gun. It's fast. It's well armoured. It's just there's nothing to not like about it. And I must get myself a T110E5. In order to do that, I have to play the M103, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good tank. It's not as well armoured, but it's still pretty good hull armour. And it's kind of weird because everybody expects the American tanks to have impenetrable turrets, but you know, have paper for hull armour, and the M103 and the T110E5, it's kind of the reverse. Not that the turrets are easy to penetrate, but they're easier than the hull. Sides and rear, on the other hand, oh my god, it's big. It's something like it's 50 odd millimetres at the sides and 38 at the back. So yeah, you need to be careful when you're driving this thing. But that M58 gun is fantastic. And sooner or later I'm going to shoot it at something. So it's an encounter battle, in case it wasn't obvious, on Merica. And check out our AMX 1390. I completely missed that while I was babbling on about what a good tank the M103 is. AMX 1390, 2 kills. They're artillery. Oh, that was well played. He just screamed right down the middle of the map, dodged everybody's fire, killed 2 of their RT and then died. Well played, and that's made me feel a lot more confident about hanging around on this corner now that they only have a GW Tiger left. So derping around on the corner there wasn't really going too well. Let's go over the top. T34. Oh, another M103. Oh, yeah, I'll take that shot. Oh, nice. 400 average damage on this gun. Yeah, and that's kind of the American thing. Oh, M103. Can we have him? Yep, we can. The gun doesn't do as much damage as the German or the Russian or even the French. Well, it's not really fair to compare it to the French tank guns, but it does fire faster. Get that T34. Yeah. Okay, and there we go. We're going to get penetrate from the sides and rear every time driving this thing, so I'm going to need all ass. Turret. Boom. Oh yeah, ammo rack. Get those tracks back up and move. Wow, we actually bounced a shot from the rear. Oh, that doesn't happen often. So I'm going to use this dead T34 as cover. Oh, missed. T110E5 saves my ass. Okay, now let's start moving. We've basically beaten the attack on this side. Got E75 with us. And there's Tiger 2. E75 doesn't have the big gun. Still a powerful tank. And there we go, he's killed the Tiger 2 as well. So that's the thing about the T110E5. It's basically, he's using the same gun as me. But this gun on that tank fires faster, aims faster, is more accurate. Same damage and penetration, but all the other stats are better. And I really can't wait to get it. Still don't have the last engine unlocked on the M103, and you have to go through the engine to get to the T110E5. But I'm having fun playing this thing. It's going to give me better power to weight ratio. It's about 100 and odd more horsepower, so I'll accelerate faster, which is good, but I can manage without it. I would certainly recommend you upgrade the engine last on this thing. You want to get that gun. Yeah, gotcha. Now you don't have to unlock the gun on the M103. You can play it with the T122 gun, which is all right. It's adequate. And you're going to want to get the T122 gun, because playing this thing with the T29's gun is just appallingly bad. But what you certainly could do is not bother unlocking the M58 gun, because you're going to get it researched when you unlock the T110E5 anyway. So you can just go through the engine to get the T110E5, and then once you've got the T110E5, it unlocks the gun on this little baby as well. Oh, bounced off my hole. Haha. No, completely missed. It's me going on about how great this gun is, and then, duh. We're going to get the killing shot? No, we're not. Ferdinand. So yeah, you could skip upgrading the gun, just to get the T110E5 even faster, go for the engine instead. And then once you unlock the T110E5, come back and stick that gun on this as well. However, I just think this is such a good tank with this gun, but I went ahead and got the gun anyway. Oh, can we get a hit on that object 704? Yes, we can. Need to be real careful I don't hit that T110E5. Although I'm probably not going to reload in time. There we go, he kills him as well. So good game from the T110E5, and not a bad game from me either. The M103. Ooh, I do like this tank. Let's have a look and see how we did. So there it is, M103 victory on Merica. And that's one of the I'm not going to say it's the first good game I've had in the M103. It's one of the first good games I've had in the M103. My victory ratio on this thing is something like 67%, which sounds really good until you look and see that I only have a third class mastery badge on it, which tells you that, yeah, I've won most of the games I've played in it, but it hasn't been because of me. And that's because of the guns. Well, it's due to a number of factors. Nobody's any good in a tank the first time they play it, and it takes a while, a bit of getting used to. And secondly, the gun selection. You start off with this 105mm gun, the T5E1, which is a great gun on the T29, 2 tiers lower. It's got no business being on a tier 9 heavy tank. And then you unlock this thing, which is it's really a stopgap. This T122 gun, the first 120mm gun. Its penetration is it's not bad. The damage is okay. Its rate of fire is all right. The accuracy is awful. The aiming time is awful. It's a stopgap until you can unlock the M58. That's the money shot right there. Awesome penetration, same decent damage, good accuracy, good aiming time, slightly better rate of fire. And that's the gun that you'll have on the T110E5. But it's even better on the T110E5, faster rate of fire, same damage and penetration, but it's more accurate. It's an even slower aiming, even better aiming time. It's a good gun, which is going to be a great gun when you start using it at tier 10 on the T110E5. And this was the first game that I played with that gun unlocked, and it really does make a difference, particularly the aiming time. It's still slowish because it's a heavy tank gun, but 2.3 seconds isn't bad. It's on the quick side. It's nothing like the horrific French aiming times, and particularly the French and the Russians. The aim times of their guns are just horrible, and it really, really feels like finally I'm driving the tank that the M103 was supposed to be. Certainly didn't do the best out of our team. That honour goes to the T110E5, who gets himself a steel wall. 3 kills and 1003 XP before modifiers, so a good game for him. But still, that was 1100 XP game for us, with a premium account obviously. But more importantly, we made money, and even if we hadn't been running a premium account, we would have made money on that game. And I enjoyed it. I like the M103. I think it's a good tank. It's certainly not without its weaknesses, but it's surprisingly tough from the front. Sides and rear are just horrible. I mean, the hull armour at the side is 51mm thick. It's 38 at the rear. It's just awful. Never, ever, ever turn your sides or rear to an enemy tank when you're driving this thing. I mean, even a tier 3s can penetrate. You could get killed from the rear by a Marder driving this thing. It is, it's a fun tank to drive, but it's a claymore mine, front towards enemy at all times. You know, it's all right. It's I've been having fun with it, even though I'm not very good at it, but I can only get better. So that was the M103 anyway. Take care on the battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.